What's going on, everybody? Jonathan Rahana here. Welcome back to Passion My YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing a buyer's guide for the SV650 and SV1000 radiators. Now behind me here I have an OEM and an aftermarket radiator that we're going to be doing a side-by-side comparison on. Now guys, I always see you asking on the SV pages, hey, I dropped my bike today, cracked the radiator, need a replacement, which one do I get? Now I know always the first option is to head on over to the Suzuki website and be like, hey, I'm just going to buy a replacement one. Well guys, these replacements right here from Suzuki right now, at the time that this video is being made, August 2021, these are going for over $500 from Oneida Suzuki, brand new. Or you can head on over to good old eBay, grab yourself a aftermarket radiator, a racing radiator, for only $100 or less. It's a pretty good deal. Which one should you go with? And will this aftermarket one hold up to the quality of an OEM replacement? Let's talk about it. Alrighty guys, so to get this buyer's guide started off, let's talk about the OEM radiator first and everything that it includes from factory. So starting out, you got 3 points of contact to mount this radiator to your bike, 2 up top that mount to your frame, 1 down here that mounts to your front cylinder head. 3 points of contact that mounts your radiator fan, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. And that changes on 03 to 04 models compared to 05 to 09 models, which this one is right here. Up next, we have a mounting point for your OEM horn, and then this bracket right here, which actually mounts this little flapper, which prevents moisture from getting into your front spark plug. Up next, we have 2 side plates, and I don't really think these actually do anything. I think they're just there for aesthetics. And lastly, we have an OEM locking radiator cap. This right here, as you can see, it has the locking screw on there, and that's pretty awesome from factory because the SV650 does produce a lot of vibrations, and it would suck to have your cap vibrate off on you and pop hot coolant all over you or all over the road. It wouldn't be a great day for anybody at all. But that's the OEM radiator for you. Let's talk about the aftermarket ones. So this one right here, I'm gonna say this is the nicest one that I've ever gotten on a parts bike, and the reason why I say that is because this one actually has OEM amenities, starting out with the OEM horn bracket, and then a bracket down here for that little flapper that prevents moisture from getting into your front spark plug. So that's pretty cool. Up next, we also have the 3 mounting points as they should mount to your frame and your front cylinder head. Now this lower mounting point right here, as you can see, it actually broke, and I'm not sure how it broke because this bike wasn't involved in a wreck, so I'm not too sure about that. So I'm just gonna say that's a quality control issue right there, and also the aluminum that they use for this seems pretty flimsy. But up next, we got 3 points of contact for your radiator fan. This one right here is an 0304 radiator fan, and it mounts onto this one perfectly. Now the common misconception with these radiators is that they suck and they have fitment issues, and it's usually because the fan. Now if you bought this radiator for your bike, and let's just say you have an 05 to 09 model, and you notice that your radiator fan is not mounting up to it, it's because this mounting point and this mounting point are completely different. So this one right here is an 03 to 04 fan, and this mounts up on here perfectly. Now the problem that I see is on eBay, the sellers sell these radiators as 03 to 09, and that's a big problem because, one, if you had the 03 to 04 fan, perfectly fine, whatever, you could just put it on there, it'll all bolt up, call it a day. But if you have an 05 to 09 model and you buy this radiator and you bolt your fan up and you see that it's not bolting up, you're going to be upset and think that it's a quality issue with the product and that it's just made like crap, when honestly it was just the seller not knowing what the fitment was and didn't list it correctly, and you bought it unknowingly. So what I recommend is, if you ever do run into that issue where you do buy one of these radiators and you do notice that the mounting points are different, you can either source an OEM fan to mount it on there, or I've seen a lot of times people just go ahead and zip tie it and make it work, and I honestly just kind of advise against that. But buying a new OEM replacement fan is about $350 right now, so I could see the wants to just ride and just strap it up as it is and just send it, you know. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, it just draws down to quality. That's my biggest concern with these right here. So aftermarket radiators, I never get one that doesn't leak. They always are broken or leaking or something, and that's usually because the bike I get it on is crashed, so it is what it is. But I've honestly never had a leaking OEM radiator. I've had tons of them that are warped and bent beyond belief, but they won't leak, and I think that's absolutely amazing. These ones right here, once they bend or crack or whatever, immediately start leaking, and it's just the worst thing ever. But these right here, when they start bending or warping, you can actually take like a blowtorch or a heat gun, heat it up, and you can kind of almost reshape it straight. You'll never get it perfectly straight, but you can actually reshape these things back to straight or almost straight if that's why you wanted to replace it with an aftermarket unit. At the end of the day, it's just what you can afford. Like I said, these units right now are going for over $500 new. These right here you could find for under $100, sometimes with radiator hoses, and some people look at that as an upgrade. I always recommend buying OEM, and I will live by that till the day that I die. The SV community really doesn't have a good aftermarket support, and all of these radiators, the aftermarket ones to be at least, are all from China, all from some manufacturer that nobody knows the name of, and I really don't like that, you know. With OEM, you know exactly where it's coming from, you know that it's quality and that it will last, so this is what I recommend going with. But if you don't have the means to basically replace your radiator with a new OEM replacement, I recommend buying an aftermarket one. These aren't too terrible. As long as you're not stunning your bike or dropping your bike all the time, these should hold up for a little while for you. The customer that had this one on had it on for well over a year. And like I said, it doesn't have any leaks or anything, but it's just the quality on it is just not really up to my standards. So these units right here, when I do get them off of a parts bike, I usually sell them between 150 and 200, and that does include the fan, the horn, the little flap if it has it, the locking cap, and the side plates. And that is a great deal over the factory 500 plus 350 for the fan that you would be paying. So at the end of the day, your best bet, if you don't want to buy one of these cheap aftermarket ones, but you do want to support local small businesses like myself, you can always pick up one of these off of me or another dismantler much like myself, and you'll be getting OEM quality for a better price. It may be used, but I promise you, you'll be a lot happier with the quality of the used one compared to a new aftermarket Chinesium radiator. So anyway, guys, I hope this buyer's guide helped you out in some way. If it did, please hit that thumbs up. Also, smash the subscribe button to stay tuned for future SV content. And until the next one, I'll see you then. Peace.